Okay, in this video we are going to find the secant of negative 165 degrees using a half angle formula. Okay, now first of all, secant, this is the reciprocal of cosine, and they're both even functions. So you can just basically drop the negative and you'll have the same value. So the secant of negative 165 degrees is the same value as the secant of positive 165 degrees. All right. And then, like I said, whenever you have the secant of an angle, that is the same thing as 1 over the cosine of the same angle. So if we take the cosine half angle formula, cosine of a divided by 2 being equal to plus or minus the square root of 1 plus the cosine of a divided by 2, and do the reciprocal of that, we will have a formula for the secant of a divided by 2. So we could do plus or minus the square root. Since it's just a single fraction, we can just flip it and we'll have the reciprocal. Okay. All right. So we're supposed to be doing the secant of 165 degrees. So we're going to say a over 2 equals 165 degrees. And multiply both sides by 2. And that tells you that A is equal to 330 degrees. Okay, so that's what we're going to put into our formula. So it's going to be the secant of 330 degrees divided by 2 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 2 divided by 1 plus the cosine of 330 degrees. Okay. When you do 330 degrees and you divide it by 2, you're going to get 165 degrees, which is perfect. That's what you were trying to do. You're trying to find the secant of 165. Okay, so it's going to be equal to, all right, we're going to have to choose plus or minus. Okay, so this right here, is this positive or is it negative? All right. Secant's the reciprocal of cosine. So what about the cosine of 165 degrees? Positive or negative? 165 degrees. That's in quadrant 2 somewhere. And we have the all students take calculus. It's sine that's positive in this quadrant, not cosine, not secant. So this is negative. So we're going to put a minus there outside of the square root. All right, and then we're going to have 2 over 1 plus. Now we have to find the cosine of 330 degrees. Not 165, 330. That is one of our special angles. 330 degrees. If I go to the unit circle, 360 is here. So if you back it up 30 degrees, see, that's going to be a special angle. It's the same thing. 330 is the same thing as 11 pi over 6. And if you draw in your reference triangle, the cosine will be the adjacent, which is the long leg, root 3 over 2. So in the formula, we're going to have in the denominator 1 plus the square root of 3 over 2. So in the denominator, we're going to add those two fractions together. So the 1, we're going to make it 1 over 1 multiplied by 2 over 2. Okay, so we're going to have a square root. The numerator is just a 2. Okay, in the denominator, when I add those fractions, the top is going to be 2 plus the square root of 3. The denominator is the common denominator over 2. Okay, so we have 2 in the top, which is 2 over 1, divided by 2 plus the square root of 3 all over 2 in the denominator. So this is division, and we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of the second one. So we're going to have 2 over 1 multiplied by 2 over 2 plus the square root of 3. So it's going to be negative. 2 times 2 in the top is 4. The denominator is going to be 2 plus the square root of 3. And then you're basically going to break the fraction up. Do the square root of the 4, and then the square root of that denominator, 2 plus root 3. So you have the square root of 4 on the top. The bottom, you have the square root of 2 plus the square root of 3. The square root of 4, we can simplify that. That is just 2. The denominator is a mess. If you tried to simplify it, it just wouldn't get any simpler. But really the best is just like that.